Welcome to Inside New York.
That's a great question. Thank you.
Hi, this is Shaka Khan, and you're watching Inside New York.
And this year's Tony Awards is the biggest night on Broadway.
And I'm on Inside New York.
How do you do?
How do you do?
You look like you must be new customers here.
That's right.
If you get bored out here and you're looking for some real excitement, there is always the room with the red door in the back.
What's in there?
Here we go.
Two guys with a little good luck.
All right, freeze.
And a lot of bad.
$50,000.
Money, honey. What's wrong?
The lottery ticket is in your wallet that was stolen at Zenobia's? Well, what you gonna do? I'm gonna find that wallet, Wardell. Now look, all we got to do is go on inside, see this cat, Little Seymour, and ask him about our property. Now come on. You see what I saw? Yes, I saw what you saw. And don't be worrying about nothing, because the dude messed with me, I'm gonna knock him out.
Welcome to Inside New York. We are delighted to have on today's program an award-winning playwright and screenwriter for TV and film. You know, some of his best hits were Uptown Saturday Night and one of my favorites, Let's Do It Again.
Now let's do it again. Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby. Let's do it again.
And he's here today to talk mainly about two other legendary African Americans in theater and playwriting specifically, and that's Amiri Baraka, who just passed, as well as Leslie Lee. We welcome Richard Wesley to Inside New York.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Hi
Thank you
there.
so much
You're
for joining
welcome.
us today. Well, talking about likes, what was your most favorite play of Amiri Baraka's and why?
Wow.
Or are there a few?
Slave Ship.
And why?
The sense of pageantry, history, the sweep of history and poetry that was in that play. It was an exciting experience for me. With Dutchman, of course, simply because Dutchman made me absolutely aware of the power of the stage.
You black son of a bitch! You let me go!
You just shut the hell up. Keep your stupid mouth closed. You don't know anything, so just keep your stupid mouth closed.
You're afraid of white people.
Stupid!
And I knew that I wanted to be a playwright. Once I actually performed, I was an extra in our production of the play, so I was on stage in it, you know, and I was like, oh, I've got to be able to write words like these.
Do you remember any of those lines that particularly affected you?
Yeah, and I don't want to repeat them.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Sure.
No, I don't want to repeat them.
This is non-commercial
I
television.
know,
They can't pull the plug.
I know. Well, I know.
You can, the tamer.
Well, yeah, one of the tame, the lesser ones was when he made that. Earlier, I talked about allowing anger to be released. He had a line in Dutchman, just let me bleed you, you white whore, and 10,000 poems.
Cutting all your throats, I mean wantonly, you great liberated whore. You boiled some black man, and right away you were an expert on black people. What a lot of shit that is. The only thing you know is you squeal if he bangs you hard enough, and that's all. Belly rub, shit. You want to do the belly rub? You don't even know how.
Everyone talked about, white boys talk about Bessie Smith. They just love Bessie Smith, and all the time they don't realize that if Bessie Smith had been able to kill the first 10 white people she saw, she wouldn't have had to sing not a line of blues, not one line.
They say, I love Bessie Smith. Don't know yet that Bessie Smith is saying, kiss my ass. Kiss my black, unruly ass. Before love, suffering, desire, or anything you can explain, she's saying, and very plainly, kiss my black ass. If you don't understand that, it's you that's doing the kissing.
And the reason those lines resonate is because every black person that I know of who heard them either had an instinct of a feeling like that, or they heard grandma say something like that. You know, to look at those pictures of lynchings that had occurred in this country, to realize that from the time of the Plessy versus Ferguson decision that more or less memorialized segregation as a part, and Jim Crow as a part of American life in the mid-1890s, right up through the mid-1920s, there was something like 10,000 black people who were lynched in this country. You know, I mean, that's what? What? There was a period where there was almost a lynching a week. The NAACP, which used to have a headquarters not very far from where we're sitting right now, used to hang a black flag outside their headquarters building every time there was a lynching and it had emblazoned on it, a man was lynched today. They'd hang that flag outside the window. And they had to hang that flag so often that there was a point where it was almost not even necessary to take it down. You know, there was, Charlie Fuller, one of my contemporaries playwrights, another disciple of Amiri Baraka. Charlie wrote a play called The Brownsville Raid, about black soldiers in Brownsville, Texas, and everything, who rebelled against harassments by white civilians who were, and they went into the town to get a black soldier who was being, beaten and was in danger of being lynched and everything. And there was some kind of violence and all that. But the upshot of it was all those soldiers were dishonorably discharged, and a group of them were hanged, for protesting, against, their treatment. And later on, there was another group of black soldiers just prior to the beginning of World War I, were hanged in mass by the Army, a mass execution. It was something like 15 of them were loaded onto a wagon, and the wagon was just pulled out from under them. These kinds of things, we had to, where do you take all of that? It has to come out. And so it came out on those lines in Dutchman.
Wow.
And once someone actually spoke those lines and spewed all that out, once that bile was out of our system, and it took an intense 5-year period, we could write about other things in our lives. We could say other things with our plays. We could go to other places psychically and spiritually that we hadn't been able to go to before. That's the gift of Amiri Baraka.
Thank you so much for joining us today on
you are
Inside New York.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us for our special tribute to Amiri Baraka. And Richard Wesley is being honored this Sunday at Crossroads Theatre Company. For ticket information, call 732-545-8100. And we look forward to seeing you again next Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on Channel 56 and Channel 2 at www.mnn.org. See you then.